Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today we are starting off in a sitting position. I am on a bolster today, but you can use whatever enables you to sit up nice and tall. Always keep in mind as well that sitting is a posture. It is something we need to practice as well. And it's taken me many years to be able to get to the stage where I can sit in reasonable comfort. And I found this position, Ardha Siddhasana, is best. So whatever enables you to sit with a nice tall spine, shoulders relaxed, so that we can breathe with ease. So using blocks, bolsters, cushions, blocks under the knees, whatever enables you. Got Miss Lulu come in today. Bring your hands, palms upwards, thumbs and index fingers together, Gyan Mudra. Chin parallel to the floor and soften or close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, focus on your chin, the lunar point. And breathing deeply here. Now we've just had a new moon, and often new moons are a time when, it's good to start new things and, new habits, new behaviours, new projects, etc. But it kind of occurred to me that sometimes, and especially over the last 4 years, the last 4 years, everything's been intensified. So people have been through so much over the last 4 years at a time when, so much has been going on around. So it's been a very traumatic and trying time. And I think it has tired a lot of us out. So I was thinking that perhaps sometimes it's good to find a sense of acceptance that where you are is perfect. Because, I always have so many things I want to do and I never get all of them done, and then I start to beat myself up and and it's like, how about accepting that everything is as it should be? That instead of striving all the time, sometimes it's about finding a state of neutrality and resting there, finding a sense of peace there. So it came to me, I said, we create a new beginning each time we find peace in the present moment. So when we have a sense of acceptance, a sense of Aparigraha, non-grasping, so not grasping for anything, not trying to achieve anything as such, not comparing ourselves with other people, a kind of sense of surrender into the moment. It can kind of be a new beginning. And it can be maybe a new habit to surrender, to accept that, okay, how would it feel to trust that I'm exactly where I need to be? And that's a question you can ask yourself, how would it feel to trust or to believe? I find the word to trust, that resonates more with me than to believe. And it may sound like a small difference, but it's about finding the words that resonate with you. How would it feel to trust that everything is as it should be? How would it feel to trust that I am exactly where I need to be? How would it feel to trust that everything is unfolding at exactly the right time? And as you ask yourself these questions, sometimes you might feel your shoulders going, relaxing, or your body going, thank God for that. Because here's the thing, right? If you died tomorrow, the world would carry on without you. And it wouldn't come to an end because you haven't achieved X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? So, and I don't mean that to make you feel bad. I mean it that you can be exactly where you are now and you are enough. You can be exactly where you are now and you've achieved enough. You've done enough, you do enough, you have enough. You don't need to strive for anything else. You don't need to tick anything else off your list. You can just breathe where you're at and trust that it's okay. It's okay. It's good to have to-do lists, etc., but it's also okay if they go unchecked. So notice how that feels in your body as I say that. If you get a sense of, thank God for that, I can just relax a little bit now. Because, I was speaking to a student this morning who also has experienced an extreme anxiety this past couple of years. And I think we've just got into a state of fight, fright, freeze. And, everything's just like, oh my God, I can't cope. So notice how it feels to think that all is well in the present moment. And breathe that in. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, deeper breaths to really breathe that in. And sigh out. And do a couple more breaths like that. Inhale through the nose. And really audibly sigh it out. And again, just notice how you feel. So you make it a bit silly, but it's actually been scientifically shown that sighing does change our emotional state, does trigger our parasympathetic nervous system. So it does actually have a real benefit to it. So just gently open your eyes if they're not already. Bring your legs in. Very gently. We're going to bring ourselves up to standing. We're at sitting. We bring ourselves up to standing. So ease yourself up. You can come into it via a hanging bend. In fact, let's stay here for a couple of breaths in a hanging bend. Take the feet wider than hip width and just let yourself kind of sway. So when we're thinking about the moon, we're thinking fluidity, the water element, intuitive, creative, flowing. Think how water moves, very fluid, and it doesn't always move in a straight line. So we're really going to feel into that, trusting our intuition that we know what our body needs. And focusing on flowing, fluid movements. So just notice what happens when you just let your body take the lead. Notice how good it feels when we can actually get out of our head and let the body take the lead. And after your next exhale, bend the knees super deep and slowly start to curl up to standing. Again, almost as if you're going super slow-mo. Slower than you maybe want to. Coming all the way up. Maybe move if you've got a cushion or whatever there, maybe move that. And maybe keeping the feet wide and just start to circle the pelvis. But this time I want you to kind of move the arms as well, almost as if you're moving, floating in water. And I know, because I was like it as well, that when we first start doing this kind of thing, we're like, I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm doing it right, I just feel like really silly. So close your eyes. If it helps, I find visualization helps. So I always fall back to like watching seaweed floating water or jellyfish, because that to me kind of like, it's that flowing, or even watching a paper bag being blown around in the wind. Anything that kind of epitomizes that free-flowing movement, or even watching water flowing down a mountain, if it comes across obstacles, it flows through, over, around. So visualize something that kind of epitomizes a freestyle movement. And maybe change direction. So whatever that something is, and keep in mind there's no right or wrong. In fact, don't keep in mind because we want to get out of that mind. But there's no rights, no wrongs. Again, imagine your body taking the lead. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just exploring. Explore. This is why it's good to have music. when doing these kind of movements, because then you can start to move to the music. It's really good doing it that. But you can imagine, or put on some music, or you can just imagine sounds. So maybe the knees bend a little bit, maybe the feet come off a little bit, maybe you slow down a little bit. Yeah, and just think of fluidity, intuition. So your intuition is your inner teacher. What is your inner tutor telling you or guiding you to do? Maybe you kind of alternate the circles, going one direction and then the other. Again, once we get out of our head, it starts to flow. When we're in our head, it feels really wooden because we're like, oh, I feel really silly. I don't know if I'm doing it right, which is why when we're drunk, we get on the dance floor, because that part of our brain that says, oh, I feel silly, is kind of like shut down when we're drunk. It's not always a good thing, but do you know what I mean? It's when we stop thinking, oh, what will people think of me, and that kind of thing, then we can let go. Again, I'm not thinking consciously of what I'm doing here. I'm just literally moving, breathing, getting out of my own way. As my guru often says, we're too full of ourselves. Too full of ourselves. Too I, as in me, and forgetting that we are divine energy in a human body. Notice I'm doing some movements with the arms. Looks like you're swimming. Again, really just let go. What's the worst that can happen, right? What does it matter if people see you and think you're bonkers? Who cares? Really, at the end of the day, who cares? Maybe we'll go for a swim. A little bit of backstroke. Kind of get in touch with your inner child. Hopefully your childhood wasn't horrendous. But if it was, now's the time to make it more fun, to go back in spirit and to make it the way you wanted it to be. And then going back to the circle. So imagine bringing the whole body into it, more or less. Breathing in and breathing out. Changing directions. Breathing in and breathing out. Awesome. Coming back to center, keeping the feet where they are. Bring the hands onto the waist. Turn in one direction. Breathe in, breathe out. As you come across and up, inhaling up. If it feels okay to do so, hinge back. Squeezing your glutes. If there's any pain in the back, then just come up to neutral. If you start to feel dizzy, slow it down. Inhale up. Exhale forward and around. Keeping that kind of smallish circle, relax the arms. So still just coming forward rather than all the way down, but relaxing the arms. So the same, itching nose, same movement, but just letting the arms hang and noticing how it feels to move through the space around you. So you can kind of soften or close your eyes. Again, if you start to feel dizzy, slow right down. And notice how our urge to maybe reach the floor, it's like we always want to do our maximum, right? If we can touch the floor, we want to show we can touch the floor. So sometimes it can be more of a challenge to do less than we are capable of. And then just swing, soften the knees, let the arms swing. So you're still kind of like holding halfway. So a lot of these are very somatic movements, great for releasing stress and tension. Make the movement big. Swing, 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 breathing in, and out, out, out. There, relax down. Another deep breath in there and out. Bend the knees deeply and start to roll up through the spine. Just noticing all and any sensations. So you might start to notice kind of tingling in the hands and arms just from these few moments. So we want to go around the other way. So hands on the waist. So turn the other way. So coming, almost if you're coming into a flat back position, then swing over to the other side and up and around. As if you're drawing a kind of circle, as if you've got a bit of paint on your bonce, on your head, and you're drawing a circle. So exhale forward. Inhale up and around. Again, if it hurts the back to lean back, then just come up to an upright position. If you do lean back, squeeze your booty. Firm up your belly, firm up your thighs, and relax the arms. So still keep the same movement, same range of movement, but let the arms relax. So we're not aiming for the floor. We're doing exactly the same, but we're just letting the arms dangle. And again, notice how maybe you're like, oh, I want to touch the floor, I want to go all the way around. Remember, it's not about reaching our maximum. Sometimes it's about moving in different ways so that we trigger different parts of the brain by doing that. When we do things differently, the brain goes, oh, this is new, and new synapses, new neurons, etc. start firing off. This time, come forward to that kind of flat back position and just let those arms swing. Swing, swing, swing. Breathing in, and out, out, out. Bend the knees if you need to. One more breath in. And now relax down. So again, bend the knees deeply and start to roll up, roll up, roll up to standing. Coming all the way up. And maybe bringing the feet a little bit closer. We're going to roll alternate shoulders. Going kind of slow to start with, allowing the spine to move. Again, thinking of fluidity. So quite often, the poses are designed to put you in a state of alignment so that energy can flow in a particular way. But if you're holding tension, if you're like rigid or whatever, then no matter how good your alignment, the energy is not going to flow. Change direction, go on the other way. So sometimes just literally these kind of movements really do help to free up the energy, free up the body, free up the kind of tension. Because look at it this way, if you did the same poses every day, for example, and you're holding tension in them every day, all you're doing is repeating the same patterns of movement. So you're repeating the same tension. Whereas when we do something kind of really different, completely different to our normal movement, make it bigger, then it frees up the energy. It's a bit like, what do you call it, lime scale, that kind of stuff. You know, it's like kind of freeing up those tense bits, those knotty bits, And because it kind of makes you smile, because maybe you feel a little bit silly sometimes, so it raises your vibrations as well. So you can go a little bit faster just for a few seconds, breathing in and out, and shake it out, shake it out, shake out the arms, shake out the chest, shake out the ribs, shake out your lungs. Check out your jaw, your neck, your throat. Yeah. And release. And notice how you feel, because what often do you feel really tingly sensations in your arms and legs as you do that. And just soften the knees, feet a little bit wider than hip width. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, pull them back. Then inhale, reach the arms up and pull them back. Okay. A little bit of fire element. So when it's hot, we don't want to do too much fiery movement. Three, two, one. Reach the arms up and circle through the upper body. You're making the movement as big as you can, as long as there's no discomfort. And going at a slowish pace, not too fast today. Breathing in and breathing out. Then change direction. And come back to center. Shake the arms out. And keeping the feet where they are. And inhale, reach one arm up. Then bring that hand down, block that nostril, exhale through the other side. Inhale, reach the other arm up. And exhaling, blocking that nostril. Stretching up. Reaching from fingertips to heel and exhaling through the other side. So we're inhaling through both nostrils, exhaling through alternates. And opening the arms out, palms up, breathe in. As you breathe out, twist, again, block the front nostril. Inhale, center, exhaling, twist the other way. Breathing in and out. In and out. So we inhale through both. And we exhale through one. Shoulders relaxed. Looking towards that back hand, holding for a second at the end of the twist. and back to center. Take the feet a little bit wider. Inhale, exhale, up and over. Inhaling up, exhale over the other side. Keeping the palms kind of upwards. You can imagine like flowing like branches of a tree. So the legs stay super grounded. And the branches flow nice and light. So we can imagine roots extending down from the soles of your feet, down into the soil, right down to the core of the earth. And flowing, it's like a wave, thinking of the breath as like the waves on a beach. The waves are coming in and out, in and out, flowing from one wave to the next, one breath to the next. And coming back to center, relax those arms. Now, keeping the feet kind of wide, lift one foot, turn that foot out about 45 degrees, turning out from the hip, place it down, spread out the toes. Do the same with the other side, so the feet a little bit wide, bring it a little bit, lift the ball of the foot, turn it out, really feel like you're rotating from the thigh bone. Again, spread out the toes and just try and kind of like lift the inside edge of the feet for a second, press into the outside edge, stretch out those ankles. And place the feet down. Imagine trying to press into all four corners of the feet. And as you bend the knees, imagine the knees going out over the toes. In fact, we do that movement, stretching over the toes and back up. Breathing in and out. Inhale, exhale. So imagine the knees shooting out over the toes and the arms are following the line of your thighs. So they're going out in a kind of V shape rather than out to the side. Tailbone tucked under, pressing those knees out. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper each time, activating those legs. Already push the floor away. As you come up, shoulders stay in line with your hips. So we're taking the arms a little bit higher each time now. So again, the arms are going in line with the legs. You're going a little bit wider, higher rather. Still keep pressing the knees out over the toes. So you almost try to bring the backs of the hands together. There, breathing, come down. Come into a little kind of squat, goddess squat, a little jiggle, side to side. You're loosening up into the hips. You're doing like a kind of figure eight movement. So your practice should always be a bit of fun as well. Not take it too seriously. Take it seriously and then it's a kind of form of devotion, but not so seriously that it's like, oh, I'm going to be really serious and You know, have a bit of fun, and that way you're more likely to come back onto the mat, right? Then press those knees out, keeping the hands on the inside. Drop your right shoulder forward. Pull your left shoulder back. Bring your chin towards your left shoulder. Then inhale, come back to the front. Exhale, drop your left shoulder. Pull the right shoulder back. Drop your hips a little bit lower. Inhale through center. Yeah, exhale, keep the arms straight. Roll, drop your right shoulder forward. Drop the hips down. Inhale through center. Exhale, other side. So a little spinal twist for the upper back. Inhale through center, little tiny pulses, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, and come all the way back up. Our little mini rest. Another breath in as you breathe out. Calm down again. Think of that wave-like motion. We're going to sweep right, left, right, and all the way over. We're going to go right, left. Doesn't matter if you do it wrong, the other way, all the way over. Because my phone, for some reason, this phone often changes it around. It flips it. Breathe in and out. Inhale, right, left, right, and over the top. So again, just thinking of waves, fluidity, loosening up into the body, listening to the body. Then come up, straighten the legs for a second, reach through the arms into a starfish. Imagine expanding, imagine you're drawing in energy through all of your fingers, drawing energy up through your feet, filling your heart space. Breathe in and out. This time we're going right, no, we're going left, right, left and over the top. There we go. Left, right, left and over the top, as if you're taking something behind you. So imagine moving through water. Again, visualize whatever for you epitomizes fluidity. So as I said at the beginning, for me, I always think of like seaweed floating in the water, the way it kind of like dances around. But whatever image, if that image works for you, then use that. If not, find your own image. Breathe in and out. And in and out. One more. Then coming back to center and inhale, reach. Relax the arms. Bring the feet all the way in. And come down into Shavasana. So bring yourself into a Shavasana. Legs mat width apart. Arms out away from the body, palms upwards. If your head feels like it's tilting back, then pop a cushion, blanket, or even roll the mat up a little bit to pop underneath your head so that there's no tension in the neck. Then close your eyes. Again, keep your inner eye gaze on your chin, your lunar point. Again, just noticing how you feel without trying to change anything, without wishing anything were different, just noticing. As I said before, and I've said it 100 times because I know, I still remember what it was like to be a student, and I still remember things that I felt self-conscious of. I mean, I used to hate partner work, for example, and I used to hate anything kind of like freestyle because I too would be like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right and I feel silly. And we always convince ourselves that we're the only ones struggling, we're the only ones feeling silly, and everyone else looks great, and they're thinking the same about us, and that's a crazy thing. And that's why I'm always going on about get out of your head, get out of your head. And that's what I mean by get out of your head. Forget those thoughts. You can say thank you for sharing or something like that, or you can be, tell them to F off, whatever works for you, or you can just completely ignore them. And that's the thing, it's just thoughts. It's not our reality. Most of the stuff that goes through our head, especially the judgment, the criticism, etc., is not reality. It's just our thoughts. So we're making a judgment about something. It's not the reality. It's not the truth. We may make a judgment. I mean, how many times have we decided that something's going to be too difficult before we've even tried it? I do it a lot. And the amount of times I then do it and find it was nowhere near as bad as I thought. And I'm like, why did I not, but we do it all the time. We decide we can't do something, or it's going to be hard, or we're no good, or whatever. But we don't have to believe those thoughts. So when I say get out of your head, I mean, don't listen to those, oh, I feel silly, or people are going to think this of me, blah, 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 because people are just too busy doing their own thing, or hopefully they're getting out of their own head. So just have fun, have that sense. If it helps, think of a time in your life when, even if it was for a brief moment, you did feel like you didn't care less, whether it was when you were drunk or whatever. As I say, when we're drunk, it's because that part of the brain that monitors our actions, that kind of says, oh, what will people think of me? That part kind of gets switched off when we're intoxicated. So the way I see it now is, if I could do that when I was drunk, then I can do it when I'm sober. But most of the time we don't do things for fear of failure before we've even tried it, or fear of what other people might think when other people are too busy with their own stuff. So once we can put that aside and just have a bit of fun, just be in the moment, and then that energy can really start to flow. And as I said earlier, we can do all the poses we like, but if we're holding tension, then the energy is not going to flow. So sometimes it's good just to free up that energy. So the energy we've got stored can start to flow. Again, going back to that question I asked you, or invited you to ask yourself in the beginning, which is, how would it feel to trust that everything is as it should be? How would it feel to trust that you don't have to do anything? You can choose to. You can choose to go after your goals and dreams. You can choose to do the stuff on your to-do list, but you don't have to. The world won't end. People won't stop loving you. You won't suddenly become less worthy. You won't suddenly become less than. How would it feel to trust that, or to believe that? And notice which words suit you. I noticed one day when I was asking myself the questions, how would it feel to believe X, Y, Z? And then I just changed it and said, how would it feel to trust X, Y, Z? And the difference in my body was quite amazing, just in that little word. Because although I may logically believe something, or I may really want to believe something, it's still a step between knowing that it's true, wanting to believe it, and actually believe that it will happen for me. So trusting that, a higher power has got me, and that I don't have to do anything else if I don't want to, and that it will be okay. Trusting that the world will not end for me if I don't get all the stuff done on my to-do list. Trusting that everything will still work out fine, that I'll still be loved, that I'll still be valued, even if I don't get everything done on my to-do list. That I can be just as I am, and it's okay. And that knowing, trusting, believing, whatever word you wish to use, notice the effect on your body. Notice that your body might go, oh, thank God. Again, just be curious. Be curious. This present moment is a gift. Don't waste it by regrets or criticism, or waiting to rush off to do the next thing on your to-do list. So feel the energy flowing around your body. And feel good in your body. Tisanera toshni, akaratinaya, yasmiya, torinyataya, nandaryandaraya, sindaryandaraya, randaraya. O sandaryande arandaram biziyara, dambaryandande arandesigariara. O ramdaryandandare, sandarikatiniyara, tumviyaya, tumviyaya. Kushnaya tambaryambatanda, rambaryakatiyaraniya. O rambaryantatannaya, ranyaya, nyaranyare, yahuyaya, humaya. Wahyamahneyahamneyahmeheyamraya Varatanyaya Ramsiyaya Kamaya Ratanyatiyahinya. Om Shanda Namaha. Om Shanda Namaha. Om Chandra Namaha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You may stay here for a while longer, or if you decide you're ready to finish your practice, just wiggling your fingers and toes, maybe giving your legs and arms a bit of a shake out. Also notice as well when I do light language, because it is spontaneous. I don't often know I'm going to do it either, and I've only been doing it for a couple of years now, and it's like the language of the soul. It's like it's meant to be understood on a energetic level. So sometimes I kind of know what I'm saying, but sometimes I could kind of translate it. Other times I have no clue, but it just feels good. So when I do light language, notice where you feel it, but even more so, notice if you have the urge to reply. And if you do have the urge to reply, just open your mouth and let sound come out. And just be curious, okay? Because you might be like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right. There is no right or wrong, believe me. So if you do ever get an urge to kind of like respond, just let it happen. You may already have done it, and that's okay. But if you do, just let it happen. So, start to stretch out the arms and the legs. And when you're ready, bring yourself up to sitting. Bring your palms together. Take a little bow to seal your practice. Just as a side note, I had no idea what light language was until a few years ago. My friend introduced me to it, and I was like, what's this? I'm always looking into anything weird and wonderful. And I went onto YouTube and I saw this video that was supposed to activate it in you. And I was still kind of thinking, it sounds amazing, but what, how? Anyway, I was going through a emotional time, shall we say, and I just went into the woods one day, and I just sat down, and I was like, I'm asking for help, whatever, and I kind of like looked up, opened my throat chakra, opened my mouth, and all this sound came out. I have no idea, and I was like listening to it going, wow, this is epic, because I had no idea. It just came out, and it just sounds, sometimes when I'm really excited, whatever, it kind of just comes out, and it just feels good. And I realise now that I probably was doing it when I was a child, because when I was younger, I have my own language. I also have 10 imaginary brothers. So I think now that I was probably doing light language as a child, and I probably had guardian angels and whatever. So so if you do ever get the urge to respond, just see what comes out. Just literally see what comes out and have fun. Again, if you are drunk, we tend to talk gobbledygook anyway, but and even if you just do it for yourself, it feels good. Feels good. So, blessings, namaste, torim sini karotushna. Doi sania, doi senuka.